crowd goes berserk. Michigan leads 9-7. Old man Euchre's been broadcasting for 27 years. Wide to the right is Bo Rather. It's Taylor deep and Cypress close. Larry Sippa under center in a balanced line. Sippa rolls out to the right, pitches off to Taylor, and Taylor's to the 20, down to the 15, down to the 10, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Touchdown, Billy Taylor! Touchdown, Billy Taylor! Billy Taylor scored a touchdown from 21 yards out. The crowd goes berserk. Michigan leads 9-7. Old man Euchre's been broadcasting for 27 years. I have never seen anything like this.
Hello, hello, hello. Thanks for tuning in to my podcast, Get Back Up. Along with me is my co-host, Bishop Terry Cox. I'd like to play that. This is not necessarily a sports broadcast, but I have to admit, I like hearing it. It pumps me up. It's my greatest individual moment in sports. But we're going to be talking about things that matter. I mean, sports do matter, but uh, this is not necessarily what this show is about. Uh, isn't that right, Bishop?
Absolutely, Dr. Taylor. One thing about it is that I want to push your book again because I think you say you sold out of all of your books, but still there are some people that are calling you and asking you for autographs of those books.
Yeah, I still have about a case left, but I'm gonna get some more books published, before I
Okay.
really push that, and then I figure out how I'm gonna get it to people. We'll work that out. But what Brother Cox is referring to is my autobiography, Get Back Up, the Billy Taylor story. And on the cover, it's more than a sports story, it's my life, because those of you those of you listening that know me or know of my career at Michigan, and know I went through a lot of highs and lows, with addiction and recovery. And speaking of recovery, this August 17th will be 27 years
Hey, all right. I wish look here. I wish the
without a
sound man
drink,
could,
drug,
if they
or
can find some
cigarette.
of them applause on the thing, even if it come in late, I don't
Oh
care.
man,
Yeah.
it's
How
a
many years
miracle.
again?
27. August 17th will be 27 years.
Well, let me
So
ask you to do this.
miracles do happen.
Well, let me ask you this, Doc. For the people who are struggling to
Hmm.
get past that first week,
Hmm.
that first month,
Hmm.
that first half of the year, that
Well,
first year.
I got some advice for
Well, I love to hear it.
them. I'm gonna keep it simple, because that's what one of my counselors used to say to me in those early days. And I was struggling. He said, "Keep it simple, simple." And I'm saying this, and listen closely. If you or a family member or friend are struggling with alcoholism and other drugs, alcohol is a drug. If you're dealing with addiction, listen closely. Here we go. Don't use and pray. Now that's real simple.
Don't use and pray.
Don't use and pray, and your life will get better and better and better. I promise you. I guarantee you that. Now, that's easy to say, but I know from experience it's not easy to do. I relapsed 1,000 times at least,
At least.
probably in the first week or month, before I really got it. I relapsed a lot of times, and some, counselors will say, relapse is a part of recovery, and really it is, because I've only known one person that said they weren't going to use anymore, that were addicted, and they didn't use anymore. And listen to this: this person had a diagnosis. They were, shall we say, slow.
Okay.
I don't know what the exact diagnosis was.
But they were considered to be slow.
They considered to have a disability, And now I had a bachelor's and master's degree from the University of Michigan, and I kept relapsing and spending all my money. And I said I wasn't going to do it anymore, and I do it again as soon as I got some money, you know. But this one person who some say mentally ill, okay, he came. I'll just share this short story.
Okay.
He came and asked me and a couple other guys to go get him some drugs, and we did. And the type of drugs that he was using was crack, you know, and it goes just like that, you know. You can smoke up maybe 50 or so dollars. I've been out of it a long time, like in 4 or 5 minutes. But the point I'm want to make is that we got him the drugs and he smoked it up in 3 or 4 minutes, and then he was asking for some more. He says, and we said, there is no more. He said, all gone, all gone. And we said, yeah, it's all gone. And he said, I'm not gonna smoke
No,
anymore.
economics alone.
He said, no more. I smoke no more. And I'm telling you the truth. This guy, because he was in the same neighborhood that I and other people were, he never smoked again. Now he was mentally ill, that's what they say. But who was mentally ill? I had a bachelor's and a master's degree, and some worked towards my doctorate at that time. But I relapsed over and over and over again. So I guess it is correct that relapse is a part of recovery, because I've never known anybody that said they were going to stop, you know, that really had an addiction and they're not going to do it again. And they actually didn't do it again, but just one individual.
Well, Rhonda, I'm not going to call your last name, but Rhonda, we want to say thank you for sending your comment in on Praise God. And the Dr. Taylor, I want to like to let people know, even though we have a sort of script, we just flow off of each other.
Yeah, we let it flow.
We've been talking all week, and this was not the topic that we said we was going to open up on.
No,
but I love the comment. But if you, by any chance, would like to call in, if you have a family member or a friend who may be suffering from any kind of substance abuse or substance addiction, please call us right now at 234-404-3887. Again, that number is 234-404-3887. Dr. Taylor, I have not heard a simple solution. I believe what you said, if I heard it correctly. Don't use and pray.
That's right. If you can do those things, I guarantee you can recover.
Well,
if you can do it.
Now, I am officially a certified bishop. I go by the handle of the good bishop that does bad things because I'm not perfect. But if you have a family member and you'd like to call in for prayer, we'll pray for you right here on the airway. We don't mind doing that. We're not trying to turn this into a religious show. But Dr. Taylor says his testimony is either he was praying or he had some folk who were praying.
Well, now that's a whole nother thing. It was a whole lot of people praying for me. So, and I thought the prayers were not getting through because I continued to
kept relapsing.
And to my lowest point, I spent 2 years homeless on the streets of Detroit, and it gets very cold in the wintertime. And I almost froze to death several times. You know, something kept telling me when I was so cold one night to get up and walk, move. That I think that was the spirit of God, because I was tired, I was hungry, I'd been up a couple of days, and I wasn't dressed adequately for that cold weather. And I got up and drank, and there was another addict on the corner, and he gave me some liquor, and I kind of shook it off and made it through the night.
Well, Dr. Taylor, I believe we got a couple of callers in the queue. If I'm correct on that, so I don't know when we'll be able to get the caller in, but we do see someone is calling from 313 as well as 927. So if we can get our 313 in, we will. If not, we'll go to our 927.
We got to be able to get their names.
Sabrina, there it is. Sabrina, let's talk to Sabrina.
Hey, Sabrina, thanks for calling the show. How are you this evening?
Hi, I'm blessed. How are you guys doing?
Oh, blessed. Every day is a blessing. That's how I start my day. Thank you, Lord, for another day. I'm a teacher, not a preacher, but I have a preacher next to me here.
So, Miss Sabrina, what area of the country or the world you're calling from right now?
I'm calling from Detroit, Michigan.
Hey,
Okay.
glad to have you on. Do you have a testimony of any kind, or are you just thankful for what we're talking about today?
Boy, I definitely have a testimony, but it's not in recovery.
Okay.
I actually was calling because if someone had any questions, to call you guys. So I did actually have a close friend of mine, a close friend of the family, reach out to me, telling me that his son is dealing with he's dealing with drug
Addiction. Well,
abuse or substance abuse. Yeah,
so
addiction.
Sabrina, let me say this. Um, caller 9972. If you hit us back, we will get to you. But nevertheless, Miss Sabrina, let me suggest this. For that person, and I'm just echoing and piggybacking off of Dr. Taylor's testimony. It wasn't just him praying. There were also the family members and people around him that were praying as well. So if you can surround this person
Mhm.
with as much prayer, and I'm not talking about passive love where people act like you're not dealing with what you're dealing with, but people that can give you honest truth. Um, I would suggest to do that because Dr. Taylor stated he's like over 1,000 times he relapsed. So my suggestion is
Yeah.
don't
Right.
That's
don't
in the first month.
in the first month. We're gonna pray that the family members and loved ones do not give up on this person, because the people who did not give up on Dr. Taylor, look at what a wonderful blessing it is. How many years you say, Dr. Taylor?
August 17th is my clean date. This August 17th will be 27 years without a drink, drug, or a cigarette, and no relapses, no nothing. So I've been really blessed,
And
and
congratulations.
thank you. That it's a miracle. Miracles do exist because I'm telling you,
Absolutely.
I was out there suffering from depression, and everybody got their journey and their reasons for getting caught up and going too far. But I never used, in high school and college, maybe a few beers or party or something like that. But I never got into heavy stuff. I never used a needle. I was always scared of that. But the cocaine, the marijuana, and the alcohol, I thought was my best friend. But in 9 months, I lost my mom, my uncle and aunt, and the lady I was dating, all in 9 months. And I was just 20, 21 years
Wow.
old, and I couldn't handle it. Every 2 to 3 months, there was a tragic death of the closest people in my life. And I should have been seeing a professional. I should have been on, the proper medication, but I self medicated. And that's a mistake that many of us do, and it almost killed me. But thanks to the prayers of the elders, I have another story about that.
Look, Doc, it's your story. Go ahead, baby.
Well,
And
because
I can say that my father he used to drink a lot, and and I'm only telling his story because he's very open about it. He used to be in and out of prison, in and out of jail. Like every year of his birthday, he would get locked up
Mhm,
because he had been drinking and had did something
mhm.
crazy. Then he came out and he had stopped smoking cigarettes. He had stopped drinking. And I asked him, I was like, Dad, how did you just stop? Because at the time I was smoking cigarettes, which was something I used to say. I hated him smoking them. And I used to say, I would never smoke cigarettes.
Mhm.
Next thing you know, by the time he got home grown and I'm smoking cigarettes. So I was like, Dad, what did you do to help you like stop? And he said he prayed. He said the same thing that you said. You said to don't use and to pray.
That's right.
And so he said what he did after he smoked a cigarette or during the time he smoked a cigarette, he said that he would thank God for delivering him in
Mhm.
advance. That's
Uh,
what he did.
well, like I
And
said, I'm not a
I
preacher.
quit smoking too 15
Well, congratulations.
Amen.
10 years ago.
I'm
Well, look,
not a I'm a teacher, not a preacher, but I have strong faith in my high power and strong faith in God, and that's briefly, um, the prayers of the elderly avail much. Isn't that right,
the
Bishop?
prayers of the righteous
The
avail much.
prayers
Yes,
of the
sir.
righteous. Okay, like I say, I'm a
Yeah.
teacher, not a preacher. But I'll just quickly from the time I was 7 or 8 years old until I was like 12 or 13, I would have to walk around the block with my mom and my aunt to my grandmother's house, and Reverend Cheatham, Deacon Cheatham, and Brother Walker. Uh, these men would come to my grandmother's house for prayer, and you know, I had to sit on this little ottoman, and they all put their hands. Reverend Eccleton, they would put their hands on my head and shoulders and be, Lord, bless this child, because, keep him safe from
That's
the evil
amazing.
one. Cover his head and
Hmm.
all the way down to his feet, with the blood of Christ and all that. And I was a little kid, and I was squinting, and I couldn't stand it. I was the only one that had to walk my mom and sister around,
You was
and
fighting the anointing.
I was fighting it, and that went on for
Right,
years.
right, right.
I couldn't watch TV. I had to sit there while they were praying, and if one start to die down, then the other one would, Amen, hallelujah, and then they would say their thing, and then if they start to stop, somebody else would continue on, and so this go on for at least a half hour, and I'm just a
Hey,
kid, and these men, big rough hands squeezing my head. I couldn't stand it, but I say today, thank God. Thank God for the prayers of those elder and righteous people, right, Bishop?
yes, sir.
That's
Now let me say this
I
right here.
know
If I
that
go
had a
back to
lot
the
to
other
do with
screen,
it.
if I can get back to the other screen, Mr. Gerald on Facebook, Gerald, we want to thank you for calling in. And Gerald says, "Good evening for treatment. Um, they can also contact Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network. That's the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network at 800-241 4949. That's 800-241-4949. So if you're in Detroit, the Wayne County area, and you have a relative or yourself going through some type of addiction problems, that at least we can say that Detroit is doing something about it. So you can go to the Detroit Wayne Integrated Health Network, and get some information and get help, because one thing we as black people, because I think, Sabrina, you sound like you might be of the African persuasion. I know Dr. Taylor and I, we
Yes,
we, we
I
both
know.
look like we brothers. so so let us not forget, even with having the anointing hands of the elders, get therapy as well. Dr. Taylor talked about the recovery. The fact that he has a anniversary date is because he went to some form of helps. Now, let me, if I'm not mistaken, Dr. Taylor, you did not say this, but this is what I surmised. We started the show off with the clip of you having one of your most famous moments, running that touchdown and all the cheering and all the accolades, but you could not lean on that cheering nor those
No,
accolades
no,
to pull you out of the depression of what was going on.
not at all. Not at all. I had to reach out for help, but I will say I was in and out of treatment
What,
several times. But each time I left,
what is the problem?
within days, I was using again.
Mr. Eddie, we do see you. Now, Miss Sabrina, I want to thank you for calling so much. It will be on next week, same time, same station. Might be a different topic, but we want to thank you.
Okay.
May God bless you and your family. If you
Amen.
have any children, let me speak this
Thank
word.
you.
Yes, ma'am.
Before I drop down, I just wanted to say, and then I'll hang up, and then you guys can I'll still be listening.
Thank you so
The
much.
problem is he doesn't the person doesn't feel like he has a problem.
Oh wow.
And that's where the problem, he hasn't.
typical.
I know that he has to face that first.
That's right. That's
Well,
right.
But like you said, pray.
That's right.
Absolutely. And we're going to be praying for you and him. Now, I don't think right now, if you call in later, we can leave a message, but some kind of way you can go to Dr. Taylor's page and just hit him a personal message on Messenger, and we'll do our best to get a name and some more information. We will pray for this individual and your family, and we're going to work there, and hopefully you'll call in next week. So, Sabrina, we're going to say goodbye to you, and we're going to go on to Mr. Eddie from the Department of Corrections. Eddie, we're spiraling, so we're looking for you coming on the line.
Brother Treadwell.
Yes. How you doing today?
I'm fine.
Yes,
How
sir.
are you?
This is Mr. Eddie Tread. I'm doing okay. This is Mr. Eddie Treadwell. I'm in Michigan Department of Correction in Muskegon. I've been locked up for 34 years now, and I feel this is a lot of various different topics that I think worthy of discussion on the podcast. For one, right?
Now
But
hold on.
right
Now
now, I
now
think
where you
that
say you located
I
at?
need. I'm in Muskegon, in Michigan, at Brooks Correctional
I
Facility.
remember you, Brother
Muskegon.
Treadwell, from when I was on 910 for almost 4 years.
Yes,
I
sir.
remember you were calling in.
Yeah.
Okay. And you still there?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And then I'm still here, and I'm trying to get up out of prison, right? But I'm having a difficulty in trying to generate the necessary support to try to help me get out of prison. There's been an article in the newspaper where judges here in Michigan are sentencing people for long indeterminate sentences for crimes that they was acquitted of. People may have been charged with a high crime, but got it broke down through lack of evidence or whatever the case may be. But the judge will still sentence you for long, indeterminate sentences, and basically giving you a life sentence in prison without any real justification for the extension of the sentence, right? And so the Supreme Court is arguing against that now, saying that they done found out that these judges is doing that, abusing their authority, so to speak, because it's authority that goes unchecked could be the most corrupt if they agents of Satan.
Well, Mr. Treadwell, let me interject this. I hear what you're saying, and that's part of what
we were talking about that earlier.
Yeah, we were.
There's
that
money
was
in incarceration.
that was part of what we were going to start our show with, but I thank God that Miss Sabrina called in. We must be mindful, and I'm gonna say this because those that are listening, I don't want them to think that we are anti-America, because I think Dr. Taylor and I both, we love us some America. America has some of the best freedoms all over the world. However, we must be mindful that America does have some illusion. They say the American dream. In order to dream, you must be in an altered state of mind. So, and when they say that you are free, we have freedom to go through these United States, but nevertheless, there are a lot of things you cannot do when you go to another state unless you change your ID and change your residence. So you can't be in one state and getting benefits from another state, not state monies. If you got a retirement or something like that, that's totally different. But when we start talking about prison, and this is a sad truth, the prisons in America started, believe it or not, at the end of the Civil War, which means there were no prisons in America until the Africans were set free. I'm going to say that again. There were no prisons in America until the Africans were set free. Massachusetts, Connecticut, and Pennsylvania were the first three prisons that were instituted in America. We have to understand that how they handle, when I say how, they being the country, we took a lot of the processes from England. Early America, how we handled crime was corporal punishment. If you violated a crime, you were killed. If you were, and they even used that in adultery. If you were committed to adultery, you were killed. And then they say, okay, well, that's a little too harsh. So they watered that down, and then they went to things like branding people. When I was a kid, Dr. Taylor, I don't know if you remember the book, The Scarlet Letter. The lady that was caught in adultery, and she had to wear the Scarlet Letter A, throughout the community.
That's some real old school stuff.
But that was a downsize from being murdered. So they branded you in some type of sense. And then somewhere in the 1800s, they said, look, if we get to this branding and murder thing, the powers to be were concerned about mob mentality. You hear about, even in Western movies, somebody goes to prison, then you got this lynch mob want to snatch people out of the jail and hang them and lynch them before they get to trial. And this was not just for black folk, this was for white folk too. So the government got concerned about mob mentality. So they said, look here, we need to find an institution that's going to curtail mob stuff. So they began to sell the story of, let's take these people away from society, and hopefully that will deter crime. So what to do with people who had bad offenses has always been a problem in America. But I want to go back to the fact that in this after the Civil War in 1770, the beginning of prison started. And what they did was, I believe it was in the 1800s, is when they created the 13th Amendment. And what the 13th Amendment said was anybody who created a crime that lost all of their rights, and that began the jailing, the chain gangs. A lot of people don't know that vagrants laws really started in the early 1800s to incarcerate black men because after they left,
had nowhere to go.
they had nowhere to go. So if you were standing,
Right, laundering up the railroad.
Chain gang.
right. So if you were just standing in the woods, they say you were loitering,
Lock you up.
you got locked up, you got sent there, and then and Dr. Taylor and I, we were talking earlier pre the show about President Biden. Whatever I say about Biden, I'm gonna say this right here. At the end of the day, for those of you who have the opportunity to vote and the power to vote, not so much as the Democratic ticket, because as black folk, Democrat and Republicans through the last 50 years, black folks' situation ain't changed at all.
I say vote Democratic because we really don't.
There you go. That's right.
You really don't have a choice to, in my eyes, because
This is why.
let me say this about the two candidates, and people listen closely. This
right,
is
Doc.
original. I say Biden is a human being with flaws, but Trump is a demon with claws. So we don't have a choice. I mean, that people got to wake up, because he's seriously on a mission to wipe out the democracy, and then we can talk a lot about democracy, to start an autocracy, and the Supreme Court has supported him, and they made him immune to prosecution, even if he want to kill somebody.
Well, let me make a correction. They did not make Trump immune. They made the office of the president. So if we had,
people know what I'm saying.
No, Doc, because we need to get this clear. Because the Supreme Court did what they did, our reigning president could use that law, and he could put Donald Trump in jail right now, because according to the Supreme Court, he has immunity. Now, Joe Biden right now, if he was a ruthless man, if he was an immoral man, because of what that law just did, he could do whatever he wanted to do.
That's what I said. I was talking about Biden, about Trump, because I said the Supreme Court has supported him, and we can't allow him anywhere near the Oval Office.
And I got what you're saying. Now, my position.
I think the people.
I
think it'd be better served if we focus more so on our elected officials here in Michigan, in each individual state, because each individual state is sovereign, and we can create and make our own laws that represent the will of the people within that particular state.
Well, I hope the will
legislators are supposed to work for the will of the people.
Well,
so the people need to pick and choose and groom those who have the same ideas to go into these particular offices and represent their will. You know what I'm saying? And and pick them prosecutors, get them prosecutors out of the office who's trying to just lock us up and throw away the key. Without any real rehabilitative type of programming. Now, it's all right if a guy violated a crime. It's all right if you go send him to prison, but you got to offer him something. You got to correct his behavior, try to correct his behavior.
Hold on for a minute. Hold on, because I don't want to. I do not want them to mute your line, but we got to hold the fort. Two things, Dr. Taylor, before I get back to Dr. T, Mr. T. We got somebody on Facebook. Once I get the Facebook back up, Mr. Greg said Trump is the Antichrist.
I'm reluctant to say that on the air, but I'm with you, my brother. Whoever said that. I mean, people got to wake up.
Mr. G said Trump is the Antichrist. And Ms. Vicky, we want to say good evening to you. Thank you for being on. We see you here. But now,
Biden, a human being with flaws. Trump is a demon with claws. Y'all better get to it.
Now I'm gonna put my spiritual hat on this one right here.
Right.
Nobody that I know of is perfect.
Of course not.
Donald Trump. Now let's play the numbers now. Donald Trump gave HBCs more money than Obama. Hold on. Whatever. Regardless, he gave HBCs more money than Obama and Biden. Okay, he let out more African Americans during his amnesty than Obama and Biden. Now, those are just facts. And Trump, now here's what a lot of people don't understand. It ain't so much that Trump is a good person, but
He talk out of both sides of his mouth.
He's manipulating some strong values. The Democratic Party, and Dr. Taylor, you got to help me about the left and the right. The left and the right always throws me off. So either way about it,
the Democrats are on the left.
But the left has, I think the left goes with more so trying to help poor people and that type of thing, and the right has other thing. But the point that I'm trying to make now is that Trump is trying to uphold heterosexual laws, because right now, according to the Democratic side, the Democrat won't draw no line. Oh, look here, on a male being a male, on a female being a female,
and
that's one.
Look,
and that's one of them untouchable topics that a lot of people don't want to talk about. But now I have a granddaughter, and my granddaughter is going to be fighting against a man to get scholarships in her field. So so on that point. But now I will say this: I do agree with Dr. Taylor that we need to be, and I call it voting for democracy, not so much as a person.
Not autocracy.
Democracy is going to be
1 minute remaining.
Being on the other side.
Treadwell has only a certain amount of time he can talk because of his location.
Okay,
he has a minute. You want to go ahead?
I just want to know, for the people who out there listening, my name is Eddie Treadwell. My prison number is 205-017. If you'd like to contact me to continue the topic dealing with significant prison reform here in Michigan, then feel free to contact me on JPay. But the thing is that we have to, prisons, right, is just housing all our men.
Hold on. Let me say this, because I know you got to go.
30 seconds.
You got 30 seconds, but let me put this in your ear. We're going to talk about how the 13th Amendment has certified prisons with the 25 to life. Corporate people don't understand. Fortune 500 companies
big business
pay it's $1.6 billion in probation alone per year. 1.6 billion is made in probation alone.
Big business,
so when people say crime does not pay, it does not pay the criminal.
Thank you for
using
GTL.
The people that are investing.
Take care, brother Treadwell.
And we're going to get back with you. Yes. So, but people, I want you to understand when people say, well, so-and-so is a criminal, let's understand what a crime is. A crime is whatever the powers of be say it's a crime at the time. At one time in America, for a black man to look a white man straight in the eye was a crime. At one time, if you touched a man's horse, it was a crime. So,
and they could shoot you without penalty.
So when people say somebody is a criminal, I want to know what they did. Right now, one of the highest people, the percentage of people that are incarcerated is up under what crime, Brother Bill? Robbery.
Yeah.
Robbery is the number one crime.
And substance abuse.
Well, but answer this.
Behind it.
What is one of the number one causes of robbery?
Well,
lack of resources.
Yeah.
When you have poor education, you have the inability to acquire a job, and even with the HBCs and the blacks going to the elite schools, that does not mean when you get out, you're going to get an elite job. We have to understand, even in the labor union, that A, B, and C register that you have in the labor form, the A people were the people that were there before. The B, they would say you got grandfathered in. Well, my granddaddy was a slave while your granddaddy was at the mill. So when you're on the C list, you the last person that's gonna come up because of how the system. Now, I want y'all to understand why we're on this show. We have engineers that do not look like us. They are not. They are not the problem that has dealt with this thing. So I definitely want people to understand this is not about racism. There are people that are in the system. The system of education in America had to hoodwink everybody, white folk, black folk included. Because again, I said we got engineers here. They getting paid. They got to work. White men have to go to work. Black men have to go to work. Asians have to go to work. But now the robbery, who has, what they don't understand, Dr. Taylor, is in the prison system, when there is high incarceration, employment increases in the prison system.
Absolutely.
Because what the system has done, all right, for those of you that are investing, would you invest in something that was trying to be derailed or something that was trying to end? So for all of those people that are investing in privatized prisons, that means that you must be able to do something to make sure that there are crimes or criminals to make sure that your investment doesn't go away in the next 4, 5, 10 years. So these sentences, the 3 strikes you out, that was written by President Biden, now when he was Senator Biden, and he brags about the fact that he wrote those laws were set up to have people in jail for a entire retirement system. If you had those three
he's a
felonies,
politician, not to
yeah,
make no excuses
right?
for him.
And that's the only thing I'm saying is let's tell the truth about both sides.
Mhm.
This man wrote a law that allowed corporations to hire people for free for 25 to life. That is a retirement. If a man works on a job for 25 to 30 years, he gets some type of pension. If you go to prison, you're working for free. So
But the
Mississippi,
prisons are making money.
prisons are making money, and also Starbucks making money, Walmart making money, American Airlines is making money. Now, all of these companies. Well, before I go there, now,
We need to go to some of our other callers.
well, we got callers. We got some more callers. I am so sorry. Well, they got to tell us. That's how y'all know we live. Okay, so our callers fell off. Oh, I'm sorry. So if you own it, you want to call back. If we didn't get to you, you can call back. We'll be ready to take your call. Our engineers are going to hit us, and we want to thank all of the people who are inside of the chat for coming to Dr. Taylor's thing. But Dr. Taylor, we're gonna act like you didn't know the answer. But what state in the union has the highest population of prisons?
Probably those with the largest number of minorities, black, brown, and others.
Now you would think that's true. Mississippi,
Yeah.
the home of the Klan, the Ku Klux Klan,
Yeah.
has the highest population, and it beats Louisiana by a whole 100,000. All right,
Alabama's in the hunt.
Alabama's in the top 15, and Michigan is in the top 20. So look here, watch this. Blue states and slave states have more incarceration than any other states. And check this out. Oregon had enough nerve to call Nike. This is documented. To call Nike to tell Nike, look, don't use the slave labor in China. We got some more prisons being built.
We need some more people to make some license plates.
Bring your okay. What a lot of people don't understand, California has over 7 prisons, and they have 33 plants that deal with sewing, manufacturing of various things. So there are about 30 different occupations.
They use inmates,
They're having inmates work, and those inmates are working for Thursdays. But now check this out, Dr. Taylor. If you're a prisoner, you don't have a labor union.
No.
If you're a prisoner, you don't have OSHA to say, look, you've had a long day. So now that is a recreation of slavery in a whole way.
Slavery.
So to the people in Michigan, what I'm saying, and for those of you that might be listening outside of Michigan, be very careful on how you treat the term criminal. The term criminal has been designed by the American system in order to create a subtype of slavery in America, because one, when you try to destroy a family by taking the man out of the household, you almost you got a 60 to 70% chance that this person is going to be incarcerated. They have given the stats that over 70% of the people who have been incarcerated in prison say that they did not have an in-house father figure. So I'm not saying that. So let me say this right here. So before people call in, I want to salute all of the women, the mamas, grandmamas, the big mamas who have done an awesome job of keeping the families together. But now Uncle Bubba, who got the alcohol problem, the cousin Willie, who has the drug problem, you have to be mindful. And this is not an excuse. When you are a man and you trying to go out and get your hustle on, and people who have jobs will not hire you, is a very depressing thing. To go home with no money, your woman is looking at you crazy, your kids are looking at you crazy. So now crazy situations that calls for crazy action. That's not a justification. But if America could give $100 million or $100 billion to Ukraine, how come they can't do something with inner city, do something about this prison stuff?
I'd like to have some of that money. Who else do we have that we need to talk to? Somebody has called in and made a comment. I can't see it.
That's on another screen, so I don't know on the caller screen. But right now, I don't think we have any callers.
Who is
So
that?
uh, that's the whole screen and us. So
586.
right, that's all. That's us.
Okay.
So boom, it is just telling us how long we've been on and that type of thing. So that's us right there. So our engineers are real good. They're gonna let us know. But we got one share, so we want to thank you for sharing the podcast, because that's very nice of you. Because again, we're gonna be back next week. I don't know whether we're gonna be talking about prison reform, drug addiction, and recovery,
We
or
just
prayer.
gonna let it fly.
we go.
Biden is a human being with flaws.
Well,
Trump is a demon with claws.
and with that said, let us make sure that if you are eligible to vote, please register to vote.
Get out of
To put your vote in. And I suggest to people, don't be concerned so much about what your family thinks about whether you vote. Dr. Taylor, I want, because they have not solicited us yet to do a commercial. But there's one of my favorite cigar lounges that I go to, right? And I told you I'm the
stop
good,
smoking.
Well, I told you I'm the good
Lungs
bishop that
not
does
made
bad,
for
that does
that.
bad
Lungs
things.
not made for
But
any
however,
kind of
let me
smoke.
tell the story. Let me tell a story, man.
Marijuana.
I'm at the doggone cigar lounge,
Mhm.
and this young man, we sitting side by side, and I said, hey, hey, young blood, I said, who you voting for? He said, man, he said, I don't know. He said, the person who I want to vote for, he said, my family don't like it. He said, and I don't know that much about politics. I said, okay. I said, you don't know that much about shoes, but when you get ready to go buy shoes, what you do, you Google it and you find out, right? He said, yeah. He said, okay, OG, I got you. So if you don't know anything about the candidate, Google the candidate. You will find out what their views are, what they have done, what their career stands for. But nevertheless, um, get out. Uh, there are those of you who may be felons. There are situations now with the prison reform. A lot of felonies, you can get your rights to vote back. So go ahead, Dr. Taylor.
We got to get out and vote. I mean, because black folks, particularly, I'm addressing what our parents, grandparents went through in order to vote. That's why you got to vote. If you don't, if you think both candidates are evil, vote for the lesser of the evil. I don't even like put it like that, but
I got you.
My main thing with Trump is he's a racist, as far as I can tell. I mean, because
I don't mind him being racist.
Well, you should.
No,
if you're black, you should mind him being racist. But let me finish.
Go ahead.
Finish saying what I'm saying is, he says things like people from Africa, Mexico and other countries are poisoning our blood. And who is our? He's not. He's talking about Caucasians, and but that's everybody's a human being, but to say that's Hitler's talk, poisoning our blood. I can't stand that. I don't know much about his policies other than he's making wealthy people more wealthy.
David Chappelle said, Trump ain't talking about him because Trump is for the rich. Now, but
that's right. That's right.
But let me say this:
most people in America are not rich.
The reason I say that I don't worry about Trump being racist. Old Western movie I saw. This guy had a rude, evil son, and he was a big man in town. He was a rancher, and the old man killed his son. He said, because the boy did one thing too many. He said the boy just evil. He said, I've been hoping for him to change. He just evil. I'm more concerned about an evil person than a racist person.
Well, and he is evil. Now, what you think I'm saying?
No, racist and evil, two different things.
He's both.
Okay, now that you say the man is evil, I could go along with the evil part because and the reason I can piggyback that because of the people who look like Trump, who do not kiss the ring.
Just think of how society has changed. Gary Hart had to back out of the race for president. He was a Democrat because he was seen on the back of a boat with a swimsuit model or somebody, laughing and caressing her and all of that. The standards were higher, for lack of a better way to put it. That embarrassment, and he was married, that caused him, and he was a leading candidate for the Democratic.
Look, with all the comments that Trump
yeah,
has made, still
and
half of
he's got
America.
90 felony charges against him. Guilty, found guilty by a court of law.
That
34
doesn't
cause
matter. The man is for
it
the
should
man.
matter.
The man is for heterosexual rights. He said,
Causing
look,
insurrection,
look,
guilty of rape and
it
defamation.
don't matter.
Yeah, he's obviously to a lot of people it
It
don't,
don't
but
matter.
it does to me.
Well,
That he can still be the leading candidate
for
the
a major
for the quote so-called law and order party.
well,
I just
and
how
here we
can
go
this be?
again. Our education in America is very poor.
What if all these things he's been found guilty of, if that had happened to President Obama?
Well, we already know the answer.
What would have happened?
We already know the answer.
Well, what is the answer?
Well, I'm saying we already know.
He'd be underneath the jail.
Well, that's
not just in jail.
That's just good selling point. But now, what I was going to tell you was, my favorite politician of all time, believe it or not, out of Alabama, which I'm from, was Governor George Wallace.
Oh man,
look here. Look, he was the best
segregation today, segregation tomorrow, segregation forever.
And
I remember as a young person.
Look. I remember my auntie stayed right around
because my crazy views on certain things, man.
We'll see. You not letting me finish the story. But anyway, my aunt stayed right around the street from the governor's mansion. And when George was running for president, he got shot. And I think it was Miss Chisholm who was running for the presidency in California. She went to the hospital and she saw George Wallace and she gave him, I'm gonna say, a word from heaven.
Well, he asked for forgiveness after he got shot.
And George Wallace put more blacks in office after he got shot. So, but I'm not suggesting anybody do anything to anybody. So I don't want anybody to take that. But what I'm saying was George Wallace was the ultimate politician. When Kennedy said, "Look, you're going to change your stride or I'm going to send the National Guard and we're going to take over the governorship," George Wallace changed his tune. So I'm not
forced to change.
He was forced. But Dr. Taylor, I think we almost about getting ready to run out of time. I think we have about another 12 minutes, but we do want to thank all of our viewers and our callers who called in.
Well, let's take a 2-minute break before we go off the air, and then we come back on and close out.
All right. Well, folks, at the end of the show, ain't no telling what kind of strange things we're going to tell you. But as soon as they hit the button, we'll be back within 1 or 2 minutes. And if you have anything that you would like us to talk about at our next show, please go ahead and send the comments in.
We might have to go over an hour a little bit tonight. We'll see.
All right.
We'll be right back. Hello, we're back. Thanks for sticking with us. I got a couple people on my feed. I'm not a high tech person, but Greg Wentz, I know a Greg Lance. I don't know if we got the name correct or not, but he says Trump is the Antichrist. And right on for you, brother. I'm in total agreement with you. And my dear friend and brother, there's an echo. Bishop Joel Roberts said, God will, regarding
Doc,
substance abuse
excuse me,
and addiction.
Dr. Taylor, the echo is coming back from your phone. So you got to turn your phone volume down. So as you're online on your phone, that's
I'm
yeah.
on silent.
Well, no, your volume is on your phone. So as you're talking on
Okay.
your phone, it's coming back through.
All right, now is
That
Greg.
we
Is it
we
Greg
live
Wentz
we
or
live in color.
is it Greg Wentz or Greg Lance?
It's Wentz. Now whoever
Okay,
Greg
that's what it
Wentz
says.
is, right, and that's through Facebook. So that's not
Okay.
through the engineers.
Trump is the Antichrist. We're back on live now, right? We got a couple bugs we got to work out, so just bear with us. And my brother and friend Joe Roberts, God regarding addiction and recovery, and we worked together for 20 years.
Oh, that's good. I didn't know that.
God will deliver treatment, will help you. God will deliver you. Treatment will help you maintain your deliverance. So I just want to mention that. And my niece, Vicky Houston, uh, out of Ohio, she's listening in. Hi, Vicky. I love you. You're beautiful. Okay. Who else we have here?
And Vicky was
Rhoda,
34 minutes ago.
my
I hope she's
sister,
still on.
Rhoda Bartlett. God bless you, Rhoda. Thanks for tuning in. I love you.
She started out 49 minutes ago.
Oh, wow. And we talked to Sabrina and who else? Anybody else we're missing? I don't think so. But anyway, uh, God is good.
Yes, he is.
That's when I wake up every morning. Thank you, Lord, for another day. Just to open, your eyes and be able to sit up and be able to get out of bed and walk. A lot of people can't do that, and we take things like that for granted. I do not. Because with my history and the highs and lows and the ups and downs, crazy turnarounds that I've been through in my life, I know that every day is precious. I'm not big on holidays. I'll just give a short, reason why, because they come and go just like any other day, and many of them, especially Christmas, is it's a financial thing. It's about money, and Jesus was not born on December 25th.
Doc, when you said that, it started crying outside because you just hear the rain.
Well, it's true. According to researchers and historians, Jesus was born in the spring of the year, March or April. And so, and then, a lot of people go into debt. I'm not anti-Christmas, y'all. Let me say that, but I'm just saying I've learned that one day is as important in life as another day. A lot of people get in debt and uh, for the whole year, spending for Christmas. So,
now that's a
and
topic all by itself. Financial literacy and
birthdays. Okay, January 7th for me. I'm happy to see each birthday, but a year ago, my daughter called me in the morning on January 7th, and I said, "Hello, I was sleepy." She said, "Hey, Dad, happy birthday." I'm like, "What? What are you talking about?" She said, "Dad, today is your birthday." I forgot, but I'm happy for my birthday, and I want to see many, many more. But still, it's another day.
Well, like you say, with various experiences and that type of thing, I'm just going to say one thing I do appreciate about the holidays, it gives some people something to look forward to. Thanksgiving in America, even though there's
Toys
a whole bunch,
for Christmas.
it's a whole bunch of
Thanksgiving.
lies
Oh boy.
told about Thanksgiving. But in America, that's one of the best meals you're gonna have. So it's like the
If
dress
you're
and the family.
hungry, any meal you have is your best one.
Well, and I was talking to a gentleman a few days ago with his week. Um, I can always grow from the bottom and say, yo, hey, this is that. But for the people who have some joy in their life, this is what's going to make you happy. But I do agree with you when it comes down to the commercialization of these days where
In
people are
my
going into.
community, I think October, I start seeing Christmas lights and all kind of ornaments, and you get into November more, and especially the month of December leading up to Christmas. Boy, I mean the whole community is just lit up,
Mhm.
and come December 25th, no lights. 80% of them are gone. So it's another
Yeah,
day.
cause Santa Claus coming. You got
Yeah,
to turn the
Santa
lights off
Claus.
so Santa can come.
Yeah, what a lie. Some big guy with a flying around in a with reindeers and something coming through your chimney. We telling people, kids, all of that stuff.
The lies that we tell. And Gerald Wentz
I'm
responded to
Santa
you.
Claus.
Gerald Wentz responded. He said, "It is Wentz, just like Carson. LOL."
Okay, all right, very
Yeah,
good.
that's Mr. Greg
Okay.
coming. Thank you, Greg, for commenting again. And hopefully next week, Greg, you'll call in and share with us
Spread the word.
some of your comments. Give us some topics because Dr. Taylor and I we do have
Keep it
something
real.
planned. But then like today, we started on the topic, and I thank you, Dr. Taylor, for your just sharing with your platform, your success, but also the challenges that it took to get there, and the wisdom of the people who said what they said to you about what you said is the don't what's that saying?
Don't use and pray.
Don't use and pray. So for those of you
You
who
can
haven't
do
had,
that, you shall recover.
and even if you don't have an addiction with drugs, you think about those of you who out there who have some gambling challenges. Don't gamble and pray.
Just stop the addiction. If you stop it and pray, your life will get better and better and better. And here I am coming up on 27 years, and people that I knew during the time I was using this, they thought I was completely lost. I thought I was completely lost. I prayed every day, for the Lord to deliver me from this addiction and get back on track, because I was not brought up that way. But I say, Lord, not hearing my prayers, because every day I did the same thing. I drank and got high. And,
Well,
I lived to get high.
I
I
used to
got
tell
high to
people,
live.
if if God allowed you to wake up, then He wasn't done with you.
No, he wasn't, but I sure thought he was until August 17th, 1997. I heard a voice, 4 words. And I never shared that with anybody until I wrote my autobiography, Get Back Up. But so I know that
What
there
that voice
is
say?
a high power. Well, I heard 4 words.
Okay.
William Taylor, come forth. Just as clear as we're talking. So there, I put it out there. And I had told very few people that. But I jumped up from a sitting position, dropped the liquor I was drinking, and I started cursing because the voice scared the daylights out of me. And whoever, I was sitting on the steps of a vacant building, and I started circling that building looking for who yelled at me. And I'm thinking, nobody knows my name in the streets. I was Big Daddy, I was Bubba, I was some
Everything
other
but
name.
everything but your surname.
People call me everything but a child of God. But by the time I circled that building and I was sweating, and I started looking up like, my God, is that you? True story. August 17th of 1997, and I was a diabolical addict, alcoholic, and I have not had a drink, a drug. Well, I continued to puff on cigarettes for 3 more days until I saw a doctor. But basically, I not had a drink, drug, or cigarette since August 17th of 97, and the proof is in the pudding.
Dr. Taylor, nobody's testimony needs validation. But I will share this with you. One of my mentors by book and also in person years ago, he's deceased, and because I don't really care for his son's ministry, I won't call his name. But this gentleman's testimony is that he was saved at the bar. He was drunk at the bar, and he heard the word
Comes
of
in
God.
different ways. That's right.
So for those of you who may be going through some things, what I wanted to ask you about maybe about a minute ago, being exposed, because a lot of times people don't understand that exposure whether you like being exposed or called out at the moment. You may not think that that's part of your recovery, but some people are letting you know that what they see is what's going on in your life. And sometimes that exposure is going to help you in your recovery, because then as you begin to sober up, you begin to maybe see what they were seeing, and you can not necessarily appreciate them, but you can understand that those people were not lying to you or lying about you, but they care for you enough to let you know.
You know, people tell me I was an addict. I said, y'all crazy. I just drank a little too much and get high a little too much. You know, what's up with this? You know, denial. Hey, denial is not just a river in Africa.
uh, I like the country song, and I'm just having fun now. There's a country song. One of the lyrics say, folks say I got a problem drinking. He said, but yeah, I ain't got no problem drinking.
Yeah, so Taylor, you need to get some recovery. You need to get some treatment because you're an addict. You're an alcoholic. You just drink too much. I mean, you get high all the time, man. What are you talking about?
Well,
I'm not
folks,
no addict.
we've been in
Just drink a little too much sometimes.
we've been in an hour. I want you to know you can go to Dr. Taylor's website, and you'll be able to replay this video. On the top part, we talked about recovery, and we had some comments about recovery and how we're giving out some numbers for the integrated health in here in Michigan. And that's 800-241-4949. Again, that's 800-241-4949. And if you're listening in any other parts of the country, I suggest that you could call the 1-800 number for substance abuse and get help. A topic that we have not discussed, and we'll probably bring this up at another time, is the amount of suicide and attempts of suicide in America.
And gun laws.
And gun laws. So, and gun safety. Those of you who may
Don't
have
need no AR-15 to hunt for rabbits or pheasants. This is just crazy. America's going crazy in many ways, man.
And those of you who have guns, I would suggest make sure that your guns are properly stored with the locks and everything on there, because the last thing you want to do is have a family member, especially the children, to have gotten into the environment where you keep your weapons and something happened to them. Dr. Taylor, is on you.
Folks want to go back to the wild, wild west. You know what I'm saying? They got that stand your ground law, where people are abusing that, you know, giving them, the ability to get their gun and shoot somebody. They stand in their ground. This is crazy, and just things like what I mentioned with Gary Hart. For he's married, and adultery, that's not a good thing. I agree, but look at what caused him to lose his bid for the presidency, and look at what's going on with 45. I don't even like call his name. We didn't call it several times tonight, but I mean, how can this be? He has a third of the country that's supporting him.
Well,
And
Dr. Taylor, you do say it's perilous times.
and we living in perilous times. I'm trying to tell you. And like I said, if he, God forbid, he get, in the Oval Office, my niece, Vicky, she told me, she said, Uncle Bill, that man get elected, we got to find somewhere to go. I'm headed to Costa Rica or Mexico, somewhere, uh, if that happens. But God forbid that happens, and then you look at the top secret, all the files he had over the bathroom floor down in Mar-a-Lago, and the fake university, the
Mr. Roberts,
sexual defamation,
excuse me, Doc. Mr. Roberts,
the
when you
rape.
say people can call the same number, is that with suicide prevention? Because I see the comment, you said they can call the same number and they will connect them to the treatment for their area. Okay, so those of you that are listening from places other than Michigan or the Detroit area, you can go to the 800. Thank you so much. The 241-4949. That's that 800-241-4949. And whatever city or whatever your location is, the people on that line can hook you up with the network that's going to be close to you. And I want to thank you, Mr. Roberts, for treatment on demand. Thank you. Because
Yeah,
one thing that
that's
we have to
Bishop.
realize,
That's my brother. Hey,
it,
hey, say hello to Mother Shirley for me, Bishop.
all right, because we, especially in the black community, Doc Taylor,
What?
people don't understand. Black folk being crazy is normal. Well,
Why is that?
because
We've been miseducated, misused,
no, we've been
mistreated,
traumatized.
been abused,
The
traumatized.
imagine somebody just coming to your house and taking your family away.
And imagine you work hard for 1 week, you don't get paid. 2 weeks, you don't get paid. A month, you don't get paid. 2 months, 6 months, a year, 10 years, 50 years, 100 years, 200 years, 300 years plus without a paycheck. People complain now.
Bump a paycheck.
You miss getting a paycheck.
How about not getting off work?
Well, that's what I'm saying. You working 365, right?
Well, Mr. Robert replied to you.
24 hours a day.
Mr. Roberts replied to you and said your sister is on. She's on.
My sister's on.
That's what he said.
Hallelujah. What's up, sis? Hey, I got some pictures posted of me and you and Mother. And boy, I miss Mother so much. But anyway, thanks for listening. We thought we were going to be on for just an hour tonight, but it's going to, we're over that hour, and we'll probably phase out in the next 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, next 5 minutes. look, my goose is already cooked.
We talk about things that matter, and that's what the show is all about. I play the athletic piece. A lot of people remember me for that in the All-American days at Michigan. I'm proud of it. But also, being honest, a big part of it is for me because it was the winning touchdown that beat Ohio State, gave us undefeated season, a trip back to the Rose Bowl. And it was my last offensive play as a senior in Michigan Stadium. So it kind of pumps me up and get me ready to do the show. But we're going to close on out. I mean, there's a lot of other stuff to talk about. So y'all,
next week,
listening audience, that's right. Y'all getting a taste of what Get Back Up is all about. And I want to thank you all for tuning in and listening. God bless you. And always be kind to everybody. And finally, when life knocks you down, get back up. I'm Dr. Billy Taylor, along with Bishop Terry Cox, and we're out of here.